Okay. Here we go. Time to be weird on camera. Welcome back, movie lovers. I'm Josh.
And I am Chris. And with our powers combined, we are Garner Brothers movie lovers.
Before we get started, you actually have to hit the like button because I have engineered a super pheromone that renders you incapable of resisting my request to click the like button. We're back. We've had a long hiatus.
It's called the pandemic.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard of that. But we're back because movies are back, and you've been doing reviews on a like a music soundtrack reviews or something, right?
Yeah, this is something I just barely started. I'm writing film music reviews for the website Movie Music UK, which is one of the biggest film score review sites in English in the world. The regular reviewer there, his name is Jonathan Broxton. He's written over 2,500 reviews. The guy is amazing. His reviews are incredible, and I've started to contribute to his site, which I'm thrilled about. So if you want to read anything about film scores, go check out that site, Movie Music UK. So, Black Widow in the MCU falls between Captain America Civil War and Avengers Infinity War, right? In the timeline?
I guess were those back to back?
There were some other movies in there too.
Who cares about those?
But it picks up after Captain America Civil War because Black Widow is on the run,
right,
based on what she did in that movie. And turns out in this movie she's on the run from something else too that chases her for the rest of the film. It pulls her back into her old spy family when she was part of the Soviet Union Red Room. And she has to deal with her history as a spy and the broken relationships from her past that far predate her time as an Avenger.
We finally find out what happened in Budapest with Hawkeye.
Right.
They've been talking about that since the beginning
Since the
of
first
Marvel.
Avengers. The film is directed by Kate Shortland. She's an Australian director. She's done some small films before this one, but this is definitely her biggest movie by a lot. I do like to pick indie directors out, though, and give them massive budget films and see how they do. And I'm always amazed when these directors that have done,
It works.
nothing but small budget movies come to this huge table and just nail it.
Taika Waititi is everyone's favorite director now.
The film stars Scarlett Johansson, of course, Florence Pugh, David Harbour, Rachel Weisz, Ray Winston. And the film's score is by Lorne Balfe, who is a Scottish composer that has worked with Hans Zimmer for a long time. And this is one of his best scores ever. I was really impressed. Had some very good, Russian choir.
So epic.
Along with that Hans Zimmer sound that you kind of associate with his action movies. So if you kind of think of Hans Zimmer plus like The Hunt for the Red October soundtrack, kind of blend those together, that's what you get here. But also with some really nice, softer stuff. And the theme that he wrote for Black Widow is wonderful. It's just too bad she didn't have her own theme until after she was already dead.
Oh, yeah. I really liked this movie. I
too.
Was so happy when we were sitting in the theaters and the Marvel logo came on and the Avengers theme started playing. I leaned over to you and I was like, the world is right again. It's just, I've just been wanting that Avengers, that Marvel movie, and this really scratched that itch for me. I really liked it. I did feel like if you wanted to kind of categorize it, it's not like a out of this world Guardians of the Galaxy adventure or, a mystical sort of Thor or Doctor Strange movie or something. It's more of like a grounded Winter Soldier, I felt like, esque Captain America style movie. Partially because there's a Russian Captain America, Captain Russia. What's his name? The Red Baron? I'm just kidding. What does she call him?
I don't remember.
Crimson Dynamo?
It's the Red Guardian.
Anyway, he's amazing. David Harbour,
Steals every scene he's in.
my
He's
favorite part.
really fun. Really fun.
He's so funny. And he wasn't the only good performance in the show. Scarlett Johansson, as always, knocked it out of the park as Black Widow. And
Florence Pugh is really good.
she did really good. I would really like to see a lot of these characters return in the future, because by the end of the movie, they were able to take and introduce 3, 4, maybe players that we'll see throughout the rest of the movies.
Maybe.
So
I think we'll definitely see Florence Pugh again.
yeah,
That's pretty clear from the post-credit sequence.
the bad guy is Taskmaster, and I thought he was pretty freaking scary. There was some horrifying, awesome. It felt like the Winter Soldier in the Winter Soldier, where they're running around trying to stop him, and he's just beating them into the ground over and over again. He's a pretty horrifying villain, and I hope we see him come back too. So that would be good. There's some really cool stuff. He's supposed to mimic everyone's powers, or not powers, but I guess
Fighting style.
yeah. So if you don't have
technique.
powers, he can mimic you, I guess. But he has a shield, and there's a moment where he's totally doing some acrobatic flipping over people and blocking bullets with his shield, and you're like, that is definitely some.
It looks just like
Yeah.
the way Cap fights.
And then there's a part where Scarlett Johansson is fighting him, and he does the whole swing your legs around her neck thing, and she's like, "What just happened? I've never been on the other end of that." And it's pretty cool.
He
to
does
see
the
him.
knife drop like the Winter Soldier does.
That wasn't him.
Oh, who was that?
That was Florence Pugh. I remember her
stand
face.
corrected.
She stabbed and then twisted
yeah.
and then
That was
sliced out.
kind of gruesome.
It was really, really gruesome, but luckily no blood in the MCU. Well, selective blood in the MCU.
a little.
Yeah. I still probably wouldn't bring any kiddos to this one. I would recommend it for any Marvel-loving person, even maybe somebody who isn't. I feel like there's a few movies who, if you're not all things Marvel all the time, you might still like Winter Soldier, and you might still like this one, but there's not a whole lot, I think, that would fall into that category, but I think this
No,
might.
but these are more like espionage genre films, right? Spy movie type stuff, and I think a lot of people can enjoy that, even that don't always like flying superheroes and stuff, because there's not a lot of flying superheroes in this movie. Well, they're all kind of flying at the end, but
They're all falling.
they're
all the
falling with
time.
style.
Yeah. Speaking of falling, it's not a perfect film. There are some brutal falls and car accidents. Definitely everyone would be dead after a lot of these. There's a helicopter crash, which is the most gentle of the horrible accidents that happen somehow. And
A couple of just horrific car
oh my
accidents.
gosh.
He's, and you have to remind yourself a couple of times, Black Widow, she's not a superhero, right? She's like a super highly trained spy, but she survives things that, But I guess James Bond and Ethan Hunt do that too, but this is a little worse than even them, because
It
at
is
least those guys get broken bones and stuff.
yeah, and there's stuff. I feel like if you were to compare it to the Winter Soldier again, when Captain America jumps out of the glass elevator,
Yeah.
and he just falls and he lands on his shield, and you're like, well, he's a super soldier. Stuff like that happens in this movie to Black Widow. She's firing.
But she's not a super soldier.
I guess she is the main character. So she's invincible. But it didn't take me out of the movie enough to not enjoy it. I liked it a lot.
No, it was still good.
Let's see here. Oh yeah, there was a kind of a reveal at the end of the movie that felt kind of like a swing and a miss to me.
What?
It was a bit weird, but it didn't. It also didn't ruin anything for me. I was just like, well, that was a weird choice, and then I just moved on. Um,
We'll talk about that more in the spoiler
for sure.
review.
I do want to say it is a pretty dang good female empowerment film. I think that as far as superhero female empowerment films go,
Probably the best.
probably.
It was just handled really well.
It was
And,
really good.
and the whole story itself is kind of that way. Like, male oppression is basically what's going on in this movie, and they have to fight back against that. So,
Yep.
it's a pretty extreme example of male oppression.
Yeah, it's real bad. I wanted to change the way we rank the movies. I guess I just didn't like it before. I wanted to simplify it a little bit. To basically good, fine, or bad, and then a very rare to use, but like super amazing, awesome, excellent fireworks. But I would put this in a good category.
It's a good movie.
And
Agreed.
definitely worth going to see in theaters and experiencing that awesome MCU experience again. It has a 81% on the tomato meter, 92% from the audience score there. Those are great. So
Yeah. It just hit me from the opening scene of the film what a quality picture it was already. Like the dynamic between the family of the fake family of Russian spies.
yeah,
That whole opening scene was just so good, and it just reminded me, the MCU, they are well-made films.
they are.
Even the ones I don't like very much.
I don't think I would put any of them in bad.
I can think of a couple.
What?
Anyway, this is head and shoulders
Yeah, it's
better
better
than
than
those.
God, I knew it. I knew you did. It's so cool, right?
This is better than those.
This is
But I was
really
just
good.
trying to make a point that on my scale, I wouldn't put any MCU movie in a bad section. I never came out of an MCU movie being like, that was garbage. I've always come out being like, either that was amazing or that was pretty good or that was fine. But I've never come out just being like, wow, that was real bad. So it says something when you have a franchise of 20 plus films where
And they're all so
the
good.
worst one is fine.
Yeah, it's a remarkable thing, and I did really enjoy seeing this on the big screen.
Gosh.
Like, I know you can get Premiere Access on Disney Plus, and if you're living in a place where that's still the best idea with COVID and stuff, then great. But if you can get in and see it in the big, in the theaters on the big screen, the finale of this movie is huge.
It's a spectacle.
It really is awesome to look at. And so I would say definitely see it in theaters if you can. It's a really fun one. So thanks for watching, everybody. You can click here to see our spoiler review. Can you
Yeah.
click here?
Click
There will
through.
be a link somewhere that you can click and see the spoilerful review as opposed to the spoiler-free review.
Yes. If you enjoyed our video and you forgot to like it earlier, go ahead and do that now since it is mandatory.
Good. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more of our content, and hit the bell if you want to receive notifications every time we release new content.
Until next time, we love you 3000.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. We don't know anything.